hey, you, and welcome to episode 5 of the Miss Michaela Mae Show. I'm your host, Miss Michaela Mae, and I'm here with my corgis, Tank and Willie. And today we are going to talk about becoming an author did not change my life. And it's interesting because I had the first 3 episodes very clear, and the last 2 episodes that I'm recording for today have changed multiple times. I actually recorded the fifth episode as a whole different topic. My computer crashed. My computer didn't really crash. The internet quit working, and I'm recording this via the internet technically. So that was interesting. But we're still recording a fifth episode, but my brain is tired and I wanted something that was a little bit easier for me to re record. So we are going to be talking about why becoming an author did not change my life. And what's kind of interesting is this actually piggybacks off the episode where I talk about Miley Cyrus and about I thought that becoming an author and selling books would give me the validation that I was a good writer, and it would make me feel like I was accomplished and that I had achieved something in my life. And I am here a little over a year later, and I feel the exact same way. Before I published the book, I had a little bit of a high off of it for a week or 2 weeks. And when that high wore off, I was still left with me. And I think there's a few things that factor into that. I think I needed to get my feet wet. So the original plan of the book was going to be a lot bigger. But then what I didn't realize is I beat myself up for releasing a really short book. And I beat myself up because I didn't, well, I just hit my headphones, which is substituting as my microphone today. So that was a little whoop. Um, but I started beating myself up because it's not a real book, because it's not a big book. And this comes back to we cannot solve an external thing or use an external thing to solve an internal problem. And that was like very loud in my face. And it's kind of interesting that whole year of my life, I was very clearly learning a lesson of wherever you go, there you are. And the interesting thing is, I would probably add to that, it's like whatever you do, there you are, because the only way we can change how we feel is to change how we feel. And it's not with a bottle of booze. It's not with a joint. It's not with, I love a good psychedelic every now and again, but it's not with a good mushroom. It's not with, any of these things. It's us changing something on the inside that changes the feeling. But even, I honestly just, it's kind of interesting now, me being a year since the book has come out, but it's kind of interesting to talk about it. I do feel the same way. And the most interesting thing about believing in ourselves is I have not had one person say anything bad about the book. Actually, quite the opposite. I've had people told me they were surprised it was written so well. And it's me having to see the value in what I've written. That's what's going to change the way that I'm feeling. Other people have seen the value, and other people have told me just by reading what I wrote, like it helped heal them because I was able to put words to things they were never able to put words to. But because writing has been a natural talent, and those things of like putting those things into words has been a natural talent for me, even though it's something I care about, and even though it's something I'm like insecure about people not liking. It's a very interesting combination of feelings in here. Just go with me. I still take it for granted because it has been such a, like, no one told me to take a writing class. I just, I call it, when I was 13, like post the childhood sexual abuse and like starting the court process, I just got what I would call really itchy. And what the itchiness is and was is all these stuffed emotions that just needed to come out. And so I just started writing so I didn't have that itchy feeling, and it just like it came to me very easily. And that is also about the lesson I've been learning the last 2 years, as well as the like wherever you go, there you are. It's also been not taking myself for granted, because that was something very interesting that I discovered with my mentor Kimberly from TK Stretching. Is I never even thought of the concept of taking myself for granted. I had only thought of the concept of not taking other people for granted, but never myself. But then when I started looking at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm taking myself for granted all the time. Like appreciating that this is well written. And I did put a lot of love and time to it. And even though it's only quote unquote 20,000 words, that it is a special book and it is a powerful book. But no one can do that for me. Like, I have to be the one that feels that way about the book. And it's been interesting because, like, I just keep coming back to the word interesting, because I honestly thought it would put my career on a trajectory and it would do certain things and make me feel a certain way. And it's like realizing I've already accomplished enough and that everything else is just the cherry on top. Because that is, if we keep going under the layers, that was the underlying thing, is like, no matter what I did, it never felt like enough. So even if I would have wrote 100,000 word book, I would have been beating myself up. Okay, well, actually, maybe it would have been better shorter. Or why couldn't you have wrote 120,000 words? Because when we have an underlying feeling navigating our life, and maybe the better word is fueling our life, it's going to show up regardless of what we are doing or regardless of where we are. So that was kind of, I released the book, moved to San Diego for a month, and all these things that I was quote unquote trying to run from just followed me there. Because again, wherever you go, there you are. And so yeah, it was a very interesting experience the last couple years. And if you are slightly spiritual at all, I am in something, almost done with something called a Saturn return. And those have been the themes very much for me, is like, wherever you go, there you are. And if you know anything about astrology, my Saturn is going through my 12th house, so I'll let you have fun with that. Have I felt like I've been having a mental breakdown half the time? Yes, I have. And but it is true. And the reason that I wanted to share this with you today is because we can't outrun ourselves. Wherever we go, there we are. And so if there is a situation or if there is an issue, even going back to the Miley Cyrus episode, we can't fill an external, we can't heal an internal wound with an external thing. And so everything that we are looking for in those external things, we have to learn to provide and give to ourselves. So if I was looking for the book to make me feel accomplished, but how do I sit with myself and allow myself to just feel accomplished for the fact that, like, I keep like getting up and going again, or that I'm just proud of myself because going through what I went through, I could have turned into like a hard and callous person, and where I have become an avoidant person in some ways that we are working on. I do deeply care about people. And so how do I just allow myself to feel accomplished for those things? And so since this is a re-record, honestly, my brain is tired for today, and I want to wrap today's episode up. But I just want to leave that with you today: is how can you give and provide yourself the things that you are looking for in other things or other people? And that's just another tool that we can use to start filling in these internal wounds and heal them internally, instead of constantly looking for these external things, so you don't end up in San Diego feeling like you've lost your mind, thinking a book would change your life and it just didn't. And still feeling empty. Not speaking from experience. So, yeah, we're going to keep this episode short and sweet. I really appreciate you tuning in and listening to my story about how becoming an author did not change my life. As always, I'm your host, Miss Michaela Mae, here with Tank and Willie the Corgi. If you found value out of this episode, I would really appreciate if you would rate and review and subscribe to the show. And the three of us will talk to you next time.